Beta Makeup. Assalamu alaikum. All right. As I said last time I was here, that I made the two has to be one of these war of the words, how courts can use dictionaries in accordance with textualist principles. All right? My copy that I've read. Before we get into that, I just want to do some overview. Now, there is a Europeans, as I've been saying all along, the Europeans have traded places with us. There is in the 1860s, Civil War time, there were infantry called the Zouaves, Zouave. And I mentioned it before. And their uniform was your guard, your clothing, your Moorish fez. For those who get a visualization of what the matadors wear, for those who are listening to me, and those who are here, what the matadors wear is your Moorish guard, with a small jacket, the pantaloons, the Moorish fez. Well, this was the uniform worn by the Zouaves. And then also in infantry, also in France in 1830. The Europeans have traded places with it. And also there was infantry who wore the turban. Some had the fez with the turban wrapped around it, and some just had the turban at the headdress. We have what they call the Scottish Rights Order, the northern jurisdiction and the southern jurisdiction. And the southern jurisdiction comprises of 35 states, and the northern jurisdiction comprises of 15 states. And in 1943, their membership was 212,000. That's just the Scottish Rights Order. From 1943 to 1972, the membership jumped by 300,000. So 1943, they had a membership of 212,000, and 1973, a membership of 512,000. Now, I'm giving you these numbers to let you know that this is the Europeans. This is that. The Europeans know who we are. This is not some unknown RVBey doing his class here in Harlem type thing. Europeans don't know who we are. All right? I need to present this so that y'all be clear that Europeans know exactly who we are. They have traded places with us. And they have these orders all over the country in different parts of the world. You have the Shriners. Now, that's just one order now. One order with 500,000 members in 1973. It's one order. The Shriners, ancient Arabic order of the nobles of Mr. Shrine, established in 1872. Today has a membership of over 350,000. These are Europeans now. It's Europeans. Over 350,000 in the world. 206 shrine temples in the world. Membership of 350,000. Then you have the Grottos, the mystic order of the veiled prophets and chanting realm, established at Hamilton, New York, in 1871. There's over 130 Grotto temples in the country. And the Grottos wear the black feathers. The shrines wear both the black and red feathers, but the Grottos wear the black feathers. Now, at the 213 Grotto's grand session, the Grand Monarch at the time, if you go online, you'll see that the Grand Monarch standing at the podium with his hand over his heart, Islam, all right, wearing your Moorish fez. and they use Moorish names for their temples. But they don't know who we are. Moor, Moran, Moor, Moran, Moor. Who's that? What's that? Moor. Never heard that before. They're playing us. I'm saying it so you can be clear that they're playing us. All right? These are judges who are members of these orders, politicians, members of these orders. All right? Actors and actresses, members of these orders. Professors, members of these orders. All right? So this, what's that on your head? What's that funny looking hat on your head? That funny looking hat is called a what? Hey, what's that funny looking hat on your head? They don't tell you. They know what it is. It's a fed, and they know what it is. All right? This is bad among them. You're looking at millions among them. I'm not talking about the brothers and sisters. Millions among them, and they are organized. All right? If you think for 1 minute that they don't know who you are because they're playing dumb, you got no thing coming. I'm going to show you that they know who you are. All right? They have annual parades. The Shriners have their annual parades. And the Grottos have their annual parades. And well attended. This is huge among them. Huge. And they take it very seriously. Why? Because this is their destiny. I mean, for them to maintain control of your land, your state, they have to take it seriously. Now, the reason why our brothers and sisters don't take it as seriously as our brothers and Europeans, because most of our brothers and sisters are not aware. You know? And those who are, they're tokens for the Europeans. I mean, look at we don't even have true historians in our community. Name one. That's teaching true history. I ain't talking about because they say they're African, because they have a title African historian. We don't have true historians in our community. Now there was one who lived at Harlem, but unfortunately, he didn't teach what he learned in studying Moorish history at the University of Barcelona. Unfortunately, this scholar who transitioned 2 years ago did not teach what he had studied extensively at the University of Barcelona. And for the life, I don't understand why not. His name is Dr. Ben, earned a doctorate in Moor, not history. Dr. Ben earned a doctorate in what? Moorish history. He didn't earn a doctorate in history. That's the difference. The difference between earning a doctorate in history and then a doctorate in Moorish history. What's the difference? Doctorate in history and doctorate in Moorish history is what? I mean, your studies in Moorish history. Your coursework is in Moorish history. All right, you're not studying the United States false history and Civil War history and civil rights history and he's studying Moorish history. Right. He wrote a dissertation that he never published and made it aware for the public. Most people don't even know Dr. Ben has earned a dissertation, a PhD in Moorish history. We went to Barcelona. He never wrote it. That's what, so where are historians in our community? I don't know any of them. Where are they? Name one. The history, the Smithsonian Museum, African Museum, at Washington, D.C. Bunch of lies. The history's taught there. It's not going to empower us. A lot of people from all over the country go there. They're all fired up and excited. Oh my God. Finally, they recognize black people. We really got a museum in Washington, D.C. That's not empowering us at all. There's nothing in that's going to empower us. They continue to perpetuate the lie that we came on ship. All right? Nothing in there about who we are, we're Moors. And you have some scholars who make the claim that Moor means black. All right. Moor means black. All right. Moor, this is a claim that these African scholars are making, is a Greek word. This is what their claim is. Moor is a Greek word, and it means black. I said, I want y'all to challenge these African scholars. All right? We want to ask the African scholar who's making this claim. Excuse me, African scholars. Which one is the older word? Which one is the older word? Is Moor is black older than Moor? Let's say Moor is Greek. All right, no problem. Let's go with that. They say Moor is Greek. All right, no problem. You said Greek now. All right. So that's a language. Greek is a language. Moor is Greek. That's a language. What language is black? Come on, let's stand up and challenge them. We're going to challenge it now. We're going to challenge them. No, it's a language. I mean, no, I'm saying it has a language. It's a language. Every word has a form. Yes, modern English. Modern English. Black is a modern English word. Black is a modern English word. All right? No problem. So they say Moor is a Greek word. All right, we'll go with that. Moor is a Greek word. Well, isn't Greek a few thousand years older than modern English? Why do these African scholars continue using modern English words? Won't they use the older word? Won't they use, as they say, the Greek word Moor? Won't they use the Greek word Moor? Why do they continue to choose the modern English word black? See, now, my 500 years old. Greek goes back to, you're looking at over 2,000 years. So we're looking at over 2,000 years with Greek, right? Over 2,000 years. Black, modern English, 500 years. But yet they continue to choose the modern English over what they say Greek word Moor. Why is that? Now these are African scholars. Why is that? It's a conspiracy? Are they sellouts? They will often say, oh yeah, black people built the pyramids. I didn't know pyramids were 300 years old. I'm doing what you're talking about. You said black people built the pyramids. I didn't know the pyramid was 300-400 years old. Huh? Well, the word black is now, you can't, if you're saying the pyramids are over thousands of years old, well, the word black is not thousands of years old. What I'm doing, y'all, is giving you a scholastic representation or presentation of how to challenge these African scholars. All right? As opposed to saying, no, it's not. So that means that's not going to do the road get you anywhere. No, it's not. So what you do is, what is the language label for the word? What is the language label for the word? You said it's Greek? All right, how old is Greek? You say it's English. How old is English? Is it modern English? Middle English? Old English? Is it French? Latin? Arabic? Norwegian? German? How old is the language? You understand where I'm coming from? All right? This is not the case. I just want to, set some things in place here. A few thousand years old is not Greek. That's not, the origin is not Greek. The origin is not Greek. It's going from the Berber languages. Barry Fell, Professor Emeritus at Harvard University. Even the name America, because he gives the name America, Moor, Moroccan. You're going back to the Berber languages, Arabic, Liberian languages. And it's Maghrib in Arabic. Maghrib, Maghrib. So the Moor would be the Greek form, but that's not the origin. Greek is not the origin of the word. But what I'm saying to you, you still can get African scholars. Because they're choosing black over Moor. Like, you know what I'm saying? You still can get them. They're choosing black over Moor, so stick with that. Black, Moor is the older word. And that's a fact. Because they'll say, like I said, Moor is a Greek word. Oh, black and English is not an English word. Moor is a Greek word. Black is not an English word. Moor is a Greek word. Black is not an English word. And guess how old modern English is? 100 years old. That's how old black. That's how old Greek is. Over a couple thousand years old. That's how you get them. That's how you get them. So for them to say you don't know what you're talking about, they have to show you don't know what you're talking about. Once they start showing you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to show you that you know what you're talking about. Because the language has an origin. It has a distinct time period. All right? Continue right along. Maghrib, Arabic. A few thousand years old. I don't think y'all getting me. Y'all not getting me. Y'all not. Y'all not getting me. Let me do it again. Y'all not getting me. Because y'all not getting me. Let me do it again. You're not getting me. You're not getting me. You're not getting me. What I'm doing here, there are African scholars in our community that are making the claim that we're black. All right, you follow me now. Y'all not getting it. Y'all not getting it. There's African scholars in our community that are making a claim that we're black. They are challenging people like me and and Anahid and And they're saying that we're not, because Moor is a Greek word, and Moor is, all right, no, listen. What I'm doing is so y'all can challenge them. They say Moor is a Greek word. Black is a modern English word. And it's only 500 years old. It's only Come here, fam. What I'm saying is, don't get caught up with we're not crayon argument. That's not, don't do it yet. What I'm doing is set the time period first. Yes, no, that we're not crayons, we're not. What is the time period of the world? They're saying that we're not Moors, that we're black. Moor is a Greek word. That's what they're saying. It's a Moor is a Greek word. They're making a claim that we're not Moor is a Greek word. This is their claim. Moor is a Greek word. That's what they're saying. They're saying that we're black. What I'm saying to you, I want you to say to them that black is a modern English word. And it's only 500 years old. Greek is over 2,000. That's a fact, Jack. Don't get caught with skin color, tone, and all that right now. Because this is where they are. Speak to them on their argument, like that. One, excuse me, sir. Are you aware that black is modern English? That black is a modern English word? Are you aware of that? Are you aware, sir, that black is only, that modern English is only 500 years old? No. All right. Yes, so does everyone understand what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we go off and, as opposed to focusing on that you got them. There's a point that I'm trying to get across, as opposed to that skin tone, not all that. I'm not even getting there right now. Just looking at the time period of the two words. No, yes, before Greek, but that's not what the scholars are saying. Right, that's all I'm doing. How do y'all challenge these African scholars? This is what they're presenting. So you want to stay there. Stay with what they're presenting and challenge what they present to you. And I'm going to show you how to challenge what they're presenting to you. Is focus on the time period of one of the languages. Black, modern English, which is only 500 years old. And they say Moor. When they say Moor is Greek, don't challenge them on that right now. Don't say, well, no, Moor is not Greek, it's Arabic. Don't even challenge them on that. Right now, not. I'm saying you can still get them based on what they're saying. You can beat them up based on what they're presenting. You don't have to go there that Moor is Arabic and Moor is all. You don't have to go there. I'm saying to you, they're saying Moor is Greek. Brother, Greek is older than modern English. Why are they choosing a word, black? Why don't they choose Moor over black? Why don't they choose Moor over black? Why are they choosing black over Moor? Why are they choosing more black over more? Then why are they calling out people black instead of more? I'll talk about the scholars. Why are the African scholars choosing to use black instead of more? Why are the African scholars choosing a modern word? Won't they use the older word? You would ask them that. You would ask the African scholar that. African scholar, why don't you use the older word more to identify our people? Why are you using your modern English word to identify our people, which is only 500 years old? Why are you using a word that's only 500 years old to identify our people? No, I would want them to answer. That. Whatever answer they give you, ask the question, then whatever answer they give you, that's the answer. What I'm saying is they've never been asked this. They've never been challenged with this. What I'm saying to you is, I don't see it as a waste of time, family. Let me ask you, if you ask a question, so let me answer the question. I don't see it as a waste of time, because in doing so, you're enlightening our people. You are challenging them scholastically, not emotionally. And once you challenge them scholastically, as opposed to emotionally, by giving, you're challenging using linguistics. You're giving the two languages that represented. Older, modern English and Greek. Which one is older? Greek is. You're laying down facts that is indisputable. That's all I'm saying. And then when the people in the audience hear you lay down those facts that's indisputable and see your pattern of how you're presenting your argument, you're educating them. It's not emotional. That's all I'm doing, fam. That's all. Yes, sister. Well, what answer are you looking for, sister? I'm trying to. No. You're not. I just tell you why they're wrong. If you know why they're wrong. No, you know. Oh, no. All right. You do know that Moor is older. Moor is the older word. But they continue to use the modern word, black, over Moor. That's all I'm talking about. That's all. That's all. Just stay there. I understand. I know. That's why. That's why I'm doing it again, because I know. Hey, give me a minute here, bro. Give me a minute here. I'm doing it again because I know some people miss it. I've been doing this long enough, teaching long enough, thousands of people. So I know people miss it. So that's why I'm doing it again. And you know, why I'm doing it again? Because I know people miss it. All right. Do you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about? All right. Yes, brother. We're gonna keep it short. We'll keep it short. More black because we're in the state of darkness right now for the majority of our people. You know, so we don't come together like we should in a lot of things. So we're in the state of darkness. The people coming in the light, the people black alone yet. Peace. All right, peace. All right, so we're going to move on. All right, move on. I think some of y'all, you got the point I'm making. All right? Yes. All right, we can move on. All right, good. All right, so we're going to get into, before we get into this war of the words, how courts can use dictionary in accordance with textual principles. All right, I have two terms on the board. She wants me to look at African. She said, how about the word African? Some so-called scholars are using that too. All right. There's Scipio Africanus was not his name. And Roman naming practices. The Roman naming practices consist of they're conquering you or conquering people, and they take on the names of the people they conquer. So Africanus, Scipio, we named after that whole continent wasn't called Africa. There was no time in history back 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 500 years ago, where that whole continent was called Africa. In 1880, we're just going to lay some points down. In 1880, we have what's called the Berlin Conference. And this is what they call carving up Africa. And so these modern nation states were created by Europeans. They weren't created by the indigenous Aboriginal people. Nigeria, Congo, Sierra Leone. They weren't created by the indigenous and Aboriginal people of the land. Nigeria was actually 4 tribes. And so the Europeans were the ones that named that Nigeria. The Europeans created Nigeria, not the people. They're not creating Nigeria. The Europeans created Nigeria. All right, so look this up, the Berlin Conference of 1880. And you begin to see that these, what they call these African nation states, never mention the word sovereignty, but they mention the word independence. Yeah, we got our independence. I'm going to explain this week. I'm doing it because Annie wants me to talk about Africa, the name Africa. I'm talking about it in this context here. You have the word independent, you have the word sovereignty. The sovereignty is never mentioned, but independence is. Those nation states, South Africa. South Africa was established by the Dutch. The native Aboriginal people did not establish South Africa. When I say South Africa, I'm not talking about the land. I'm not talking about a place. All right? I don't want to move. I got to be careful. So South Africa, being established by the Dutch, and not by the native people. And so they make the claim that the people have independence when in fact they don't. But keep in mind that the word sovereignty is never used when discussing these issues. All right? Now, our people indeed Moors are not African. Now, Joseph McCabe, Joseph McCabe, a world-renowned scholar in 1800, stated that it was customary to refer to all Africans as Moors. Joseph McCabe. It was customary, yes, MC, capital CABE. It was customary to refer to all Moors as Africans. And J. Rogers' book, I'm trying to do, I'm giving you references. All right, I don't want this talk and not give you references. And J. Rogers' book, Making Notes on Color Lines, Chapter 6. The Negro as Moor has more quotations in European aristocratic families. And J. Rogers, in that chapter, he references several dictionaries dating back to 1100, 12, 13, 1400, where Moor was interchanged with black. They interchanged Moor with black. 1100, 1200, 1300, 14, 15, 1600. But we already established that Moor is modern English. But BLACK is modern English. Now, let me. BLACK is modern English. This form. We have BLAK, BLA, the ligature, where the AE is close together. That's called a ligature. LIGATER. LIGATER. This is Old English. BL ligature, where the A and E are touching. All right. C. That's Old English. But BLAC is this BL is only 500 years old. All right. Let me just give you all the complete lesson. The Indo-European root applying Sanskrit or the Indo is bleg, BHLEG. So you have other forms. You have Latin, yeah, Greek, GLE, let's look up the Greek form. You have Dutch form, BLAK, Old English, BLA with the ligature, AE, that's the ligature, C, that's Old English. And Old English is from 400 AD to 1100. All right? 400 to 1100. All right? So we're looking at the various forms of black in Semitic languages in the time period. But Greek is still older. Greek is still older than Semitic languages. Old English, Modern English, Middle English, Old High German, Low German, all right, Dutch, Swedish, Frisian, those are Germanic languages. Greek is older than Latin. Greek is older than Latin. There's over 4,000 Arabic words in Latin. So you're speaking Arabic, too, Arabic. There's over 4,000 Arabic words. So you've been speaking Arabic all your life. You've been speaking Arabic all your life. Let me say it again. You've been speaking Arabic all your life. There is a YouTube clipping where they have a sister more classified as Spanish, where she's speaking Spanish and the other sister speaking Arabic, the same word, and they say it at the same time. They say the same word, she says it in Spanish, and the other one says it in Arabic at the same time. You'll see, and they actually put the spelling in a similar sound. There's over 4,000 Arabic words in Latin. You've been speaking Arabic all your life. That's a fact, Jack. When the Europeans took over our Andalusia, after our control for 800 years, they translated medical books written in Arabic, poetry books written in Arabic, surgery books written in Arabic, horticulture written in Arabic, mathematical books written in Arabic, into Latin. That's what they did. And from Latin to French, from French to English. So they maintained the same curriculum. They maintained the same, science. And can you do me a favor, brother man? Can you hold him, please? I appreciate it. And I know he wants to move, and it's distracting. Because I have to be mindful when you move, all right? And I appreciate it. All right. And I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I'm standing up. Yes, yes. That's Arabic. Different, all right. Yeah, so what you're speaking has been translated. No, what you're speaking. Yeah, right, yeah, what you're speaking. Yeah, what you're speaking. It's also transliterated. What you're speaking. It's still Arabic. Some of the, once again, there's over hold on, brother man. There's over 4,000 Arabic words in Spanish. Move right into what you're calling English is not English words. They're not English words. A lot of the words you're speaking all your life are not English words. All right? They're Arabic words. The sound has been, this is what's called a sound shift. But it's still Arabic words, though. So put me out. We have what's called morphology and phonology. Morphology is a change in form. Pater, the father. There's a sound shift. Once again, on YouTube, there's this is speaking Arabic, this is speaking Spanish. They're saying the same word. And you see the similarity. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't say, I don't understand what you're saying. All right? What about you? You understand what I'm saying? Not say, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm asking you again. You're saying that I'm listening. That still doesn't indicate. Yeah, but you're saying you're listening doesn't tell me that you understand what I'm saying. You know what? I'm going to use the word, I won't even use understand or understand. Do you comprehend? Yes. Let me use the Arabic word that's been transliterated to Latin. All right? Do you comprehend all right, means grasp, all right? Comprehend means grasp. With your mind, what I'm saying. So what? I can move on, so that means no. That means no. It's all good. All right. Phonology, sound. Yeah, PH, I guess you spell it. I didn't hear him then. All right. Yeah, phonology. And this is still what we're talking about, because what I'm talking about here is how the Europeans have distorted things over a period of time. I sent to Annie Eve this morning. These Zouaves taking word guards and using them as uniforms. What the women did was made them as dresses. When you see them on TV, you see them all your life. We actually see the short jacket. They had the long skirt and they had the short jacket. You see those? Well, that's yours. The short jacket is what the matadors wear. Right. Well, they made that into outfit. So they took your stuff and they made it into outfit, where the women would have the short jacket in a different fashion, all right, and then have the long skirt. Right. So they're showing that they've done it with everything. There's nothing European. That's what I keep saying to y'all. There's nothing European. What European culture would show it to me is that we don't know the origin of stuff. They just take our stuff, but because we don't know the origin, we're calling it the European. There's no European anything. And I'm saying to you, even the word language you're speaking, how the words you're speaking. All right. So we're going to move on. All right. In 1935, and I'm preparing y'all for this text here. All right. In 1935, yes, give me one. All right. Once again, War of the Words, how courts can use dictionaries in accordance with textual expression. We're going to prepare you for that. All right, but I got two things that I'll make down before I go into. Yes. In 1935, there was called the General Semantics Movement. General Semantics Movement. In 1935. I don't have any more. Right? Good. You have three of them. All right, good. The General Semantics, S-E, I'm right on the board. General Semantics, S-E-M-A-N-T-I-C-I-S-E-M-A-N-T-I-C-I-S-T, Semantics Movement. This is going to be, I'm laying the foundation for what we're going to be talking about today. 1935. What is this? What is the General Semantics Movement? Over 100 years ago, judges used etymology to adjudicate their decision. It was customary. It was a common practice. A common practice for judges to use etymology to deliberate. A common practice. Why is it not Abdullah now? Nothing just happens, y'all. There's no, it ain't just. There's no just. Nothing just happens. All right? That's bull. All right? 1935. Now, I'm going to tell you why the judges no longer use etymology. All right? The general semantics movement came along in 1935. And that movement dealt with kind of flooding the society with connotation. Where, well, the word means this in this context, it means that in this context. Where did that come from? The general semanticist movement in 1935. This is well funded, fam. Is that we don't know how things came about. Because nothing just does anything. Why the judges don't lose their etymology anymore? This is why. This is well funded. The general semantics movement in 1935. With this connotation, the concept is that words change meaning. Words evolve. This where that comes from. Words evolve. Words change meaning. You got to study the word in its context. That whole construct. It's got its origin in the general semantics movement. Was to snuff out etymology. I ain't done. When I was here last time, there's two schools of thought. It's tied to the general semantics movement, and what I'm going to be talking about today, there's two schools of thought. That's why you got to understand history, how things came about. Very important. There's two schools of thought in the Supreme Court. There are Supreme Court justices that are constructionists. There are Supreme Court justices that are originalists. An originalist is one who analyzes the Constitution, constitutional provisions, based on the original intent and what the meaning of the word in which the Constitution was written. A constructionist, they are all in line with the general semanticist. A constructionist is a general semanticist. And that is, well, the meaning changes over a period of time, and we have to be flexible and analyzing the Constitution. That's construction, right along with the general semantics movement. This is political, fam. This is political. Nothing just happened. This is political. All right? We're gonna get into this, all right? So I want to just lay some foundation here. Now I want to read something before we read this here. Common understanding and Justice Scalia, his term, original, ordinary meaning, or natural meaning. Ordinary meaning or natural meaning. I'm going to explain that. But let's go into this common understanding. And I'm going to, Jay, I sent this to you. Chef, I sent this to you. Wayne, I think I sent it to you. All right? They only three have that I have their numbers. So I was able to send this to them earlier. So I got to go to, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to get, I sent it to Chef. All right, here we go. All right. I came across this in 2011. Came across this article in 2011. And that this is called, I used excerpts of this and study my book coming out next year, Commerce and Race, how the Europeans, Commerce and Race, how the Europeans use, right here. It's the title. It's in the back of the book. It's in the back of Moor's Nature. Commerce and Human Trafficking disguised as race. Coming out next year. Commerce and Human Trafficking disguised as race. So I use excerpts of this article, but 3 parts. So I said this is part 1. I'm going to be reading from. Just reading a few paragraphs All right? Here we go. Let's send me some foundation here. Race, the title is called, this is written, let me give you the, go all the way down first. First give you the titles and all right. Race, nationality, and reality. INS, Administration of Racial Provisions and U.S. Immigration and Nationality Law since 1898, Part 1, by Marion L. Smith. Now, who's Marion L. Smith? She wrote this in 2002. Marion L. Smith. Yes. Race, nationality, and reality. That's the main title. Race, nationality, and reality. INS, Immigration Nationalization Service. INS, Administration of Racial Provisions, and U.S. U.S. Doc, and just read it here. It's the title article. Immigration and Nationality Law since 1898, Part 1, by Marion, M-A-R-I-A-N, L. Smith, and I'll tell you who she is at the bottom of the article. Marion L. Smith is the senior historian. This is then 2002. The article is written. Part 1. Marion L. Smith is the senior historian for the U.S. Immigration and Nationalization Service, Washington, D.C. She writes and speaks about the history of the agency. This is really good. All right, let me. All right, let's see. I wish I had this printed out. I have to go right to all right. Until Congress initiated the National Origin System of Racial Quotas in 1924, the race question remained primarily a headache for Naturalization Service. As noted above, when the service began its work in 1906, the court had not come to a clear definition of who was or who was not a white person. Once again, as noted above, when the service began its work in 1906, the court had not come to a clear definition of who was or who was not a white person. All right. In the 1790 Naturalization Act, in the 1790 United States Naturalization Act, free white person, all right, is defined in that act as those commonly counted as European race. Those commonly counted as European race. The point, all right? 1790. So what they did was, in the 1790 United States Naturalization Act, the term free white person in that act is defined as saying it's belonging to those commonly counted as the European race. They use that for themselves. They use that definition. Even the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court did not say, white applies to the Moors. No. Supreme Court was adjudicating what was already written. So they used that to determine who could come into the country and who couldn't. who could be a citizen and who couldn't. Those who were classified as white, free white persons could. There's Supreme Court cases, but this is big. This is huge, man. This, man, once I was reading this, and I wow, because it gave me details. And I wasn't general, gave me details, Supreme Court decisions, and everything. This is part one, so read all three parts. No, you're white, sister. You're white, sister. George Bush is not white. All right, you're white. All right, what I'm saying, in the Naturalization Act of 1790, I'm telling you, in that act, they define free white person as those counted as the European race. And they use that definition to determine who can be a citizen and who couldn't based on that definition. They use that definition to determine who could come into the country and who couldn't. They use that definition in the immigration law. They use that definition in bringing Europeans in our country by the millions. They were sent to Ellis Island. It was political. So they manipulate the definition. See what I'm all about. For their political gain. That's where I'm coming from. They manipulate it. We know it doesn't apply to them. So when the Supreme Court adjudicates on it, they don't go, oh, it doesn't apply to Europeans. They go what's written based on the definition that's in the Act of 1790. All right? I'm going to get to this common understanding. And this is a quote, because it's a direct quote. It's a direct quote from one of the administrators in St. Louis. Common understanding. That's why I put that in quotation. I'm leading up to that. Until Congress initiated it, I have to stop and explain. I just can't read and read and read and read. I have to stop and explain. Until Congress initiated the national origin system of racial quotas in 1924, the race question remained primarily a headache for the Naturalization Service. As noted above, when the service began its work in 1906, the court had not come to a clear definition of who was and who was not a white person. The very existence of the Naturalization Division within the Bureau of Immigration and Naturalization, however, grew from Congress's mandate that it oversees and guides naturalization work by the court. Naturally, those with questions about naturalization address them to the division. Here we go. The clerk of the U.S. District Court in St. Louis, for example, asked in early 1907 whether the term white, quote-unquote, white person in subsection 2169 in the statute and its division's naturalization regulation 21 designated, quote, only those whose color is actually white, or does it further include all persons who is ethnically known as white or Caucasian race? Let me do this again. The clerk of the U.S. District Court in St. Louis, for example, asked in early 1907 whether the term white person in subsection 2169 in the statute and its division's naturalization regulation 21 designated, quote, only those whose color is actually white, or does it further include all persons of what is ethnically known as white or Caucasian race? All right, let me go. I skipped. Hold on, give me. Here it is. Immigration officials and their list of race. This is a book. This is actually a dictionary that they use in Ellis Island. All right? Immigration officials and their list of, called the list of races or people, employ the term race as we might use the term ethnicity. Yet, even among Ellis Island immigration officials or officers, experts in identifying an immigrant's origin by his language or just, quote unquote, common understanding was not universal. Rather, inspectors were as apt as the general public to use the terms race and nationality synonymously. So the term race and nationality were used synonymously and interchangeably. All right? Rather, inspectors, all right, Victor Stafford, a medical doctor at Ellis Island, and one author of the list of races or peoples, that's the name of the book, admitted there were different, quote unquote, different ideas as to what these statistics are intended to show. As an expert, he asked different immigrant inspectors to classify the same immigration passenger manifest records and found, quote, confusion as to nationality, race, and residence, and a lack of agreement as to the territorial limits of the district specified. That's not what I'm looking for. All right. Shucks, where is it? I didn't have this printed out on my phone here. I'm just looking for one. I'm looking for the. I found it. All right. In this question, as in all naturalization matters, the courts had little guidance. The delegation of naturalization authority to, quote, any court of record, end quote, in 1790 led to the motley array of more than 5,000 high-low court exercising such jurisdiction by the turn of the 20th century. Case law was their only guide, for there was no central or national authority to answer judges' questions regarding the finer points of nationalization law or procedure. Methods adopted by late 19th century courts to determine qualification for citizenship vary widely, just as courts in some localities interpreted the quote-unquote good moral character requirement differently. Judges in different jurisdictions had differing ideas of what constitutes rightness. Many thousands of elected county judges across the nation simply relied on, here we go, many thousands of elected county judges across the nation simply relied on their quote-unquote common understanding. What does that mean? What does that mean? They relied on their common understanding of race and understanding presumably shared by the local community. What does that mean? What is common understanding of white? Common understanding of white. That's the question. Thursday, or they gathered at some form of a focus, in some other kind of way, to carry those, the majority among them, who would say were fighting among themselves, as opposed to those who would not. All right, that's along the line. And that common understanding. All right, family. What is the common understanding of white by the millions of people at Harlem? That's we're in a 10-block radius. Let's go 10-block radius. A 10-block radius. In a 10-block radius, not you, somebody else, no, somebody else. In a 10-block radius, what is the common understanding of white? Thank you. All common understanding. But they what? They created that. That's what I'm getting to, family. They what? Through social engineering, they created that. It ain't just happen. So they're using what? Common judges. They're using the common understanding. That's my whole, the verse says God can start. That's my whole point. But the ones that don't know can't fight, sister. That's okay. But who said, he said, I'm standing right here, sister. And Eve and Raphael listening, the one who set this Block Talk show up, that I'm on right now, Block Talk on right now, is Annie Raphael. Annie Raphael. No, I'm standing in front of you. What do you think I'm doing? Hold on, sister. Hold on, sister. Hold on, sister. Hold on. Sister, for 10 years, sister. I've been coming to this class for 10 years. Sister, I got you just bought this book today. I'm just... you know RVBey? RVBey? No, RVBey, Masaraya, and Eve, Liz, Raphael's son, Cujo, understand this? So yes. I'm standing right in front of her. I don't know what else you want me to do. All right, but the fact that I'm sitting here educating. You always said, in order to change the people, change their literature. Yes. But they're still going to cover, even if they were to use a vote. What is the vote going to be? What's the outcome of the vote? No. The outcome? Exactly. Right. If they had a referendum, this is what the outcome going to be. And this we said it. Through social engineering. That's it ain't just accepted. No, it's not naturally accepted. All right. You said naturally accepted, not naturally accepted. It was orchestrated. Where they used the sort of definition and put it in the schools, put it on TV, put it in the newspapers, magazines. Right. That's how. It ain't natural. All right? Right, they're calling it common understanding. They created the connotative meaning and put it out there and say it's now common understanding. And then using that to adjudicate decisions and it's real for them. It's real. So when it comes to the Supreme Court, this Chinese can't be a citizen because he's not white. According to what? Supreme Court Justice? It's according to the 1790 Naturalization Act. See? See? Right. Exactly. All right, so let's move on to this now. Wars of the words How courts can use dictionaries in accordance with textualist principles. Philip A. Rubin, R-U-B-I-N. I'm going to go through this. I'm just going to go through read some of the books that are referenced. How dictionaries are made. Looking it up. This is for those who do not have. All right, you don't have to follow this. Looking it up. Dictionaries and statistics. These are books and articles. This is the article titled "Looking It Up: Dictionaries and Statutory Interpretations." Y'all all have this. I'm doing this for those who are listening. The law of the word, dictionary shopping in the Supreme Court. The lexicon has become a fortress. The United States Supreme Court use of dictionaries. This is at the annotation section. That's all. These are books of reference here. Craig Hoffman. Parse the sentence first, curbing the use to resort to the dictionary when interpreting legal text. All right. Jason Weinstein, against dictionaries, using analogical reasoning to achieve a more restrained contextualism. All right, so I'm going to read some of this, and we'll analyze it. All right, this is page 169. Of course, we're not going to read this whole thing. There's certain sections that I picked out. Read this. So we don't have time, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to read and explain it. Page 69, paragraph, the first paragraph here. The manner in which the court has uses. The manner in which the court uses dictionaries has changed over. The reason I'm reading is because they won't be able to hear you if I had somebody else read. So that's why I'm reading. Because I would prefer to do the round robin thing. All right, I prefer that. The manner in which the court uses dictionaries has changed over time as well. Although in the past the courts would employ dictionaries to refresh the justice's memory about the meaning of words or to provide potential meanings from which the court would select based on statutory purpose, legislative intent, common sense, or some other contextual argument. More recent cases have placed dictionaries rather than policy, context, or structure at the center of the case. We're not talking about law dictionaries. We're not talking about because people will assume I have to stop, and I'm not going to assume anything. I ain't assuming anything. We're not talking about black law. We're not talking about Bouvier's. All right. We're not talking about commercial dictionaries. We're talking about the dictionaries that are at your home. We're talking about the American Heritage dictionaries. We talk about Fulton Wagnall. We're talking about Webster's. There's Webster's dictionary. We talk about Oxford English dictionaries. All right, we're talking about those dictionaries. They're not talking about law dictionaries. All right. All right. Okay. Ordinary meaning. Justice Scalia. And Tone Scalia, Justice Scalia, he used the term ordinary meaning or natural meaning. Ordinary meaning. All right, Justice Scalia is what's called a new originalist. He calls himself a new originalist. We have originalists. He calls himself a new originalist. All right, ordinary meaning. What does that mean? What is ordinary meaning? Ordinary meaning would be common meaning. All right, we already defined what common meaning is, right? Well, ordinary meaning is synonymous with common meaning. The reason I use common understanding. Common understanding is used in the article written by Marion L. Smith. Ordinary meaning is used by Justice Scalia. Right? He uses the term ordinary meaning. All right. Back in St. Louis in 1907, the term common understanding was used. So we already defined common understanding, and ordinary meaning is what common understanding is. All right? Ordinary meaning. What's the ordinary meaning for white? All right, that's ordinary meaning. All right, we're going to a 10-block radius again. The same thing. So what's the common understanding of white? 10-block radius. The same thing. All right? And that's what they're basing it on. That they created through social engineering. I will call it modern. All right. Well, we talked about, I said to you last time I was here, the word commerce. There's been a debate in the Supreme Court since 1940 over the word commerce. This is huge. You have originalists and constructionists. What the constructionists have done was included agriculture into the word commerce. Agriculture is farming, into the word commerce. And commerce means trade, but agriculture has nothing to do with commerce. So this whole debate, it's all political. You know, even when a president, when an newly elected president-elect, when there's a vacancy in the Supreme Court, they do the research and that the president and elect will choose a Supreme Court, will nominate someone for a Supreme Court justice based on what? It's politics. Right, because he's trying to get certain things voted on. All right, so that's the history of that particular judge. All right, and how long he's been serving and the services he's rendered, and so you understand the position of that particular judge. It's political. It's not about helping the people and supporting the Constitution, of course, the Constitution is political. Let me continue here. So, previous scholars have suggested that dictionaries are less receptive in questions of constitutional interpretation. Several significant new cases suggest that dictionaries now play a crucial role in the interpretation of Constitution as well, with core constitutional questions such as the meaning of the Second Amendment being decided on the basis of dictionary definitions. It can no longer be said that the use of dictionaries to define constitutional terms is an exception to the rule. Despite the court's increasing focus on dictionaries, scholars have identified several distinct and important problems regarding the use of these tools in legal reasoning. These problems include arbitrary and arguably even biased selection of dictionaries by judges. So, what principles are used to decide what dictionaries are used? That's what that article is saying, that they have not set out any guidelines or principles. Hold on, brother. I'm not taking any questions right now. No questions right now. Don't raise your hands. Don't raise your hands, please. There's no guidelines or principles that have been set down whereby they decide on what dictionaries to use or not to use. It's eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the doggy by his toe. Here's see Hollis, no. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to use Oxford today, Focal Wagner, and American Heritage Dictionary, and what dictionary would you use? What time period? And Johnson's dictionary, 1700, 1800 dictionary, 1969, Uncle Wagner, Random House, Oxford, American Heritage, Webster. What's Webster's dictionary? No internet. There's no guidelines. It's arbitrary. All right, so let me continue here. I just wanted to share this stuff with y'all. So it's not saying, well, this is coming from my doula. It's showing you right here. This is the article here. All right? Things that part one, and where are we? I'm going to finish reading this paragraph. These problems include arbitrary and arguably even biased selection of dictionaries by judges, lack of determination as to the qualification of a particular dictionary, and failure to account for context when using a dictionary to define a single term. Dictionaries, despite their allure as seemingly perfect arbiters of word meaning, do not reach the end goal of word definition. Ultimately, a court citing a dictionary is not simply to find out what the dictionary says, but rather what the word itself means, with the dictionary merely serving as a window into the lexicon. This means that any legal analysis must account for the inherent limitations of dictionaries as proxy for the lexicon. This note seeks to bring together the varying analysis, caution, and criticism in the literature, and their proposed guidelines for the citation of dictionaries in brief, argument, and judicial opinions, with the ultimate goal of promoting consistency between the use of dictionaries and textual principles. When I was prior to reading this, I didn't even know this at all. I didn't even know this was going on. Prior to reading this, I didn't even know this was going on. I'm assuming that they're all reading legal dictionaries. I wouldn't even think otherwise. I wouldn't even know to think otherwise. I'm thinking they're using Bouvier's and Blackwall, and when I read this, I was floored. No questions right now. All right, continue here. All right, part one, reviews the principles of contextualism and how the use of dictionaries conflicts with these principles for many of the same reasons that some textualist critics fault the use of legislative history. Part two then turns to the science of dictionaries and the processes used in creating them, identifying additional pitfalls. Part three brings together these criticisms and warnings to construct a model of proper dictionary usage and textualist argument. Finally, part four analyzes that model in the context of two cases that involve controversial uses of dictionaries. All right. Textualism, legislative history, and lexicography. The court's increased use of dictionaries relates to a broader trend within the court towards the use of textualist methodology and statutory and constitutional interpretation. For justices who place great emphasis on the objective meaning of words, dictionaries are appealing as easy and clear sources of the meaning. I'm just going to move on. This is page 171 in the middle, Justice Scalia. Justice Scalia is particularly associated with originalism. Justice Scalia is particularly associated with originalism, a corollary of textualism, focusing on the original intent or meaning of a word in question. The original intent, let's put that down. That's originalist. That's what an originalist is. Justice Scalia is an originalist. No, there's no difference. No, they're saying. They're just two different terms. Common understanding, all right, and ordinary meaning. So, no. All right, once again, let's do this again. 10-mile radius. A 10-block radius. No, I keep that. I'm saying, what is the ordinary meaning for white in a 10-block radius? I guess I'm trying to say. Then I don't know what you're saying. You tell me. Once again, let's do it again. You tell me. All right. In a 10-block radius, what is the ordinary meaning for white? In a 10-block radius. Let's just try to make it plain. Ain't gonna say all over the country. 10-block radius. Yeah. If you were to interview people in a 10-block radius, what would they tell you? If I had a picture of Donald Trump, right, and a 10-block radius, I walk around with a picture of Donald Trump in a 10-block radius, what would they call him? Thank you. That's what they mean by ordinary meaning. That doesn't say original meaning. That says ordinary meaning. So I don't know that I don't understand what you're saying. I'm trying to. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, if that's what it means, he's doing something that's different or something that's different.
Oh no! He used this term in the article. Right, he used the term in the article. That's what I said. I was just pointing out. Right, I read this whole article, so I pointed out certain things. We don't have time to read this whole thing, sister. Okay? We don't have time to read this whole thing, so that's not what happened. So I'm going through certain parts and explaining. Yes. The common understanding in the ordinary meaning what they're not using, they are not using historically always is whether a word is of course not. They're not, and the common understanding, I've always said in the common understanding and the ordinary meaning, they're not using the historical origin of the word. Of course not. And this is where the general semantics movement comes along in 1935, as I said before. Over 100 years ago, judges used as a standard etymology to deliberate cases, to adjudicate cases, as a standard. Why not anymore? Thanks to the general semantics movement in 1935. That's why. And this is well funded. Indeed, this is big. Nothing just happened. There ain't no just. Nothing. Right. Well, you can say as long as they control the schools, the newspapers, and the TV, and they can continue to fool a lot of people a lot of times. All right, so I'm going to move right along. All right. Oh, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome. Justice Scalia is particularly associated with originalism, a coronary of textualism, focusing on the original intent or meaning of a word in question. Original intent. And originalism, particularly Justice Scalia's form of originalism, has seen increased acceptance by the Supreme Court during Scalia's tenure. Like textualism, originalism can take several forms. Some originalists focus on the original intent of the provision applied by looking to the record intended of the drafters. Others, including Justice Scalia, focus instead on the original plain meaning of the provision. The meaning ordinary people. Here we go. That's it. That's why I use that. There we go. That's why I put his name up there. Make sure you got it. Underline it, please. Underline it. Here we go. Page 179. There we go. Highlight this right there. Put a box there. That's it. That's it. That's why I put his name up here. All right. All right. So let me read this here. Original plain meaning, and then it what? Explain what that means. All right. Here we go again. Others including Justice Scalia, focus or instead on the original plain meaning, quote unquote, original plain meaning of the provision. Then it has that hyphen that means explaining. All right, that's what it means grammatically. When you see that hyphen, all right, that gives it explanation. The meaning ordinary people would have understood at the time of the statute's adoption, regardless of any secret or unknown intent that may have existed in the minds of the provision's farmers or framers. Justice Williams describes this method as new textualism, and in the words of Professor Williams, X-Grid at the best and perhaps only legitimate approach to statutory interpretation. So let's analyze that. Original plain meaning, the meaning of ordinary people would have understood at the time of the statute's adoption. So let's look at that as in a. All right. So. All right. 1790. Here we go again. So we're going to take this. All right. We're going to take this original plain meaning. 1790 defines free white person as what? All right. Free white person. Now, what was the quote unquote, what's it say? Original plain meaning. What is the meaning of the ordinary people? What did the ordinary people see about this word? What meaning did the ordinary people in 1790? In 1790, what did the ordinary people? How did the ordinary people in 1790 define white? In 1790, what did the ordinary people, how did the ordinary people define white? In 1790, at the time in which it was adopted, the Naturalization Act of 1790. In 1790. No, I'm asking you, what did the millions of people at this time in 1790, how did the millions of people define white in 1790? So, what is Justice Scalia saying? That the meaning that what he's saying is that the meaning that should be used is the meaning that the ordinary people had at the time in which the statute was adopted. Any statute. So I'm using this one. I'm using free white person. I'm using a particular one so we can do Naturalization Act of 1790. What did the ordinary people? How did the ordinary people define white in 1790, 1789, 1770, 1755, 1750? But 1790 in particular, because that's the time in which it was adopted. But what they did in 1790 was to include all of them. And they used that They used that in the early 1900s to bring millions over here, and it was sent to Ellis Island. Those millions that was sent to Ellis Island was classified as white. And this was a major issue, even with the Supreme Court of Ellis Island. And what? It's the same issue that occurred then. It's still going on today, brother. But they're benefiting because they what? Orchestrated the... Exactly. No. Not that they were immigrants. They're orchestrated the definition. The issue, what they are, that they're orchestrating, the Europeans are using your government, Europeans are using your sovereign power, your Moorish seat of government, all right, to orchestrate, legislate statutes that oppress you and benefit them. And they do what? Language. And white is huge. This is not family. This is not some little matter. It's not a bullet go on. No, this is huge. I'm showing you. I want y'all to read that part 1 and part 2 and 3 that I gave y'all: race, nationality, and reality. Please, I beg you. Get on my knees up happy. Please read that. What I'll do, read that. I'm going to try to get copies of that next time, right? Because then I can, it's easy for me to have a copy of it that I can like highlight and just go right to it like I'm doing now with this article. Read that, because she does an excellent job. Hold on, brother, man. I got you. An excellent job in laying out the history of how race and nationality was used interchangeably. And this confusion that they had among them. We're not talking about in the general public. We're talking about in offices, at courthouses, in administrative offices. This is huge. One of my former co-workers said, this is years ago. She went to law school. Apparently she didn't pass the bar. She's a teacher. And we was in a teacher's lounge. And I was talking about nationality, that nationality is identified people, that people are identified by nationality, not by shades and color. And she responded by saying, we was in a teacher's lounge, about 7, 8 teachers. She responded by saying, that's not the real world. I said, yes it is. You have people are identified by nationality. Chinese, China. Germany, German. France, I'm giving that. Guess what? She never spoke to me again. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Now, the question is, why did she say that's not the real world? Which is our people's world, not just hers. That's and millions, not just her world, and millions of our people's world. All right. When she has to fill out forms for students, all right. Let me tell you why I think she said that. No, not you, fam. I'm talking about when I'm talking about, this is real talk, bro. It's called the Race and Ethics Standards of Federal Statistics Administrative Reporting, Directive Statistical Policy number 15. This is at schools, hospitals, regulations, brothers. They get funding, bro. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. They get funding. If you think that's all right, we got 7,000 students. And teachers are giving forms. All right, let me tell you why I think she said. All right, then I'm not dealing with the real world. When teachers give forms, All right? I'm talking about because I'm part of that. How many students you got? Hispanic? So we got what? All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, we got 9 whites. That's 9 whites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 blacks. 1, 2, this is real talk. This is why I think she says, not real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, 10 Hispanic. And she got to hand that in. All right? She got to hand that in. So this is why she doesn't see nationality. She never sees nationality. She never sees, our people never, ever, at hospitals, recreational centers, schools, restaurants, you name it, colleges, they never see nationality. On census, they never see nationality. They see race, black, white, Hispanic, American Indian, Pacific Islander. They see race. So their reality is that for those who immigrant into this part of Morocco, they see nationality on paper. After nationalization and immigration service, when they give the paperwork, and that's going to be in my book, they have nationality of origin on the paperwork. Nationality on the paperwork. That paperwork is not given to our people. That means the paperwork with the word nationality is not given to our people at all. Find out about it. Tell me where it is. It's at school, hospital, where you work, where you work, your neighbor. Where you see that at, sister? Where you see that? Where you see nationality on the uniform? All right. In fact, on the race and national origin form, right? They said this information is voluntary. However, your employer, I mean, if you leave it blank, right? Trust me, they ain't leaving nothing blank. They ain't fill it out, no problem. Trust me, they ain't leaving nothing blank. Why? Because that's finance. They ain't. You work there, trust me, you will be classified as one of those categories. Trust me, that's money. They get 25,000 for each student. 25,000. Let me talk numbers for each student. And if they don't check that off, sister, all right? This is Jewish finance. They don't check that off. If they don't check it off, trust me, they ain't gonna submit no paperwork without not checking it off. Because if they don't check that off, they get less funding the next time. Race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting to statistical policy number 15. Directed adopted by the Office of Management and Budget. And guess where that is? Guess where the Office of Management and Budget is? And the Census Bureau. And guess where the Census Bureau is? And the Commerce Department. And guess what commerce means? Trade. And this whole debate of originalness, I'm going back to it again, originalness and constructionist, debate over commerce and Supreme Court decisions, and they included agriculture into commerce. This is huge. They have what? Classified humans. Articles of commerce. I told you this is all connected. I ain't off no subject. What I'm doing is I'm showing you how this is applied to us every day. Yes, brother man. Okay, well, you are an article of commerce, right? If you don't relate as it is, according to what I understand, to a nationality or a national order. Oh no, we clear on that. We talking about it's the millions of our people. We all clear on that. What I'm saying is millions, brother man, millions of our people are unconscious. Is that a fact? I mean, is that a fact? Is that a fact? What I'm saying is, I'm concerned about the millions of our people. I'm concerned about the millions of our people. I'm not just people in the classroom. I'm talking about millions of people. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it's for him to put white. No, white's fine. No, white's fine. Oh, yeah, white's fine. No, white's fine. All right, white's fine. Hold on, brother, man. I'm going to prove to you, family. I don't know if you, hold on, y'all, please, can I get your attention? Please, can I get your attention? Please, can I get your attention? I'm going to prove to you. That has nothing to do with complexion. His name is Mustafa Hasmi. Mustafa Hasmi. S-E. I was on the phone. I was on a block talk show with him in 2012 with Senator Tasha. All right, still alert. In 2012, he threatened to kill himself right on the block talk show. All right. Mustafa Hasmi in the race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting. All right, let me go back. In 1974, from 1974, so I got to be back now, to 1977, OPEC, what? Implemented an embargo on the United States. OPEC. The oil, the big oil, that's Saudi Arabia, yeah, OPEC. OPEC, OPEC. Implemented an embargo from 1974 to 1977. Right? That's in the Middle East, all right, and North African countries, all right? The embargo was lifted in 1977. But what happened was concessions were made. What the Europeans did was included those in the Middle East and North Africa under the white meaning. That's how that came to define in 1977 the race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting was adopted by the Office of Management Budget in 1977. Why 1977? That's when the old white was lifted. 1977. And so Mustafa Hasmi, her complexion. Mustafa Hasmi is Barack Obama's complexion. Mustafa Hasmi is Barack Obama's complexion. He's from the middle, he's from Egypt. He wanted to, some of you have already heard this, some of you haven't. Mustafa Hasmi wanted to apply for a loan or grant that only applied for African Americans. They classified Moor, classified African Americans, black, Negro, colored. All right? All right? So let's say Mustafa Hasmi wanted to be classified as black. But Mustafa Hasmi was classified as white. So, in the race and ethnic standards, the vector policy number 15, white is defined as those originating from Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. That's how that statute defines white. Middle East, North and Europe has nothing to do with complexion. Nothing to do with complexion. Mustafa Hasmi, he, on the identification form, he had checked off black. He was told in writing that if he did not change his classification from black to white, that he would be fired, terminated. Mustafa Hasmi All right, no. So hear me out again, sister. In the race and ethnic standards of federal statistics and administrative reporting adopted by the Office of Managing the Budget in 1977, defines what has white, black, Pacific Islander, American Indian / Pacific Islander, Hispanic, all right? Those classifications in there, and they have a definition for each one, all right? White is defined in that statute adopted by the Office of Managing the Budget in 1977 as those originating from Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Middle East and North Africa was included in 1977 when the oil embargo was lifted. It was a concession that was given. So he was fired because he refused to change the classification from black to white. The only reason why Mustafa Hasmi wanted to be classified as black because he was applying for a loan or grant that only applies to those who classify as black and they go color African American. He was rejected. He was turned down, and he made this argument because he was denied grants. He didn't qualify for it because he was classified as white. I'm saying it has nothing to do with complexion. So what the Europeans are doing is taking your status white and what? Manipulating the clients to whom they want to apply to, as they apply to those the Europeans from Southern Europe, and they came over here in the early 1900s. So they manipulate the definition. The point I'm making, family, is that the Europeans who have control of your Moor seat have manipulating the definition of white for their own political gain. That was a political gain for them. So the oil embargo was lifted in 1977. And here comes what? The race and ethnic standards adopted in 1977. That's not a coincidence, sister. That's why I went through all that. Got to look at the date. This is huge. And let me say this. In international law, nationality and citizenship is interchangeable, so it has the same meaning. See what they're doing? They're manipulating the definition. I'm going to give you another example. This is huge. They manipulated the definition for their political gain. Nationality and citizenship don't have the same doggone meaning. Nationality relates to blood, consanguinity, ancestry, national origin, descent, pedigree. Citizenship is political. Nationality is not political. Nationality is what? Blood. Citizenship is political. So they were interchanging them. And this is done all over the world. Hey, look it up. We ain't got it. I don't believe nothing I'm saying. Chuck. Yes, brother, man. Yes, but I'm saying, yes, that was done in the United Nations. All right. The occupying power called the United States, Great Britain, and France controlled the United Nations. They manipulate the definition. This is for their benefit. For their benefit. All right? What time are we looking at? 9:42? All right. Because I have to explain something, for me just to read this and not explain, it's not gonna. I have to explain. How dictionaries are created. trying to find something else to read here. All right. Let's see if we can understand it. Any other questions? Any other questions? Uh, 189. 189, a framework for contextualist use of dictionaries. 189. The numerous complications related to the judicial use of dictionaries do not necessarily mean that dictionaries cannot be used in a manner consistent with contextualism, but the court should account for these factors when citing the dictionaries and textualist analysis. This, you just invoke the thought of me because I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I mean, I got something else for you. I got something for you. All right. This part proposes a framework for the use, as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, all right. This part proposes a framework for the use of dictionaries and textualist analysis of both statutes and constitutional divisions. First, in order to have a coherent framework, it is important to enunciate a general theory under which a dictionary is used by construing legal language. I talked about this earlier. That is, what is the purpose of using a dictionary to look up a word, a question? As the preceding discussion has shown, a dictionary is the result of extensive research and academic judgment, and when published, it is the end product for the masses of research into the lexicon, in which the same way that an encyclopedia article on nuclear physics is the mass market version of research into nuclear physics. In invoking a dictionary to define a word, one is not really searching for what the dictionary says, but rather what the word means within the lexicon. The dictionary then is simply the window through which one seeks to find that meaning. Ultimately, a court using a dictionary is allowing it to stand in a proxy for the lexicon. Proxy means a substitute. But because the end goal is finding the correct meaning within the lexicon, not the dictionary, the limitations of dictionaries must be recognized, lest the court find the answer to the wrong question. Dictionaries are proxies, and they can be good ones or bad ones. The following framework seeks to account for the limitations that make dictionaries at times bad proxies for the lexicon and to provide ways to make them better. All right, this is for you, sister. What's your name? Cannon? Hannah, that's right. Hannah. Early next year, I had a petition. I'm trying to build up more contact. All right, and Jay's helping me with the Instagram connections. What I'm going to put out I'm going to submit a petition, which is going to be online and also in a newspaper, so people can actually, all right, autograph online. All right, I'm going to have a petition where I put out 100,000 copies. All right. It's called the Race and Ethics Standards. No. What does race mean, Congress? I have a petition. That petition, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. All right? This is going to be a national petition. All right? So that's something I had worked on back in 2012, because I'm doing so many things, trying to get more information done, going to do so many things. All right? So I'm going to be putting that out in the spring of next year, because I want to put out more information. I'm a Sonic Gate newspaper, and so those things, I'm put those things in place. I'm also rewriting an open letter, which is already done. In my book called American or United States Citizen. This is the book. The letter's already in. The book will be ready in this summer. All right. Sister Io, she's almost done the layout. It's called American or United States Citizen. In there, I have an open letter to the Organization of American States. Oh. All right, in there. So I'm gonna send a letter soon. I'll be sending a letter next month, and I'm going to also publish the letter it's going to be in the book, and also going to publish it in the Masonic Gate paper as well as others. So it's open letter to the Organization of American States. Now, millions of the indigenous people living in the city. Is that correct? Millions of indigenous people living in the city. The Organization of American States are not recognizing us as indigenous people. Organization of American States adopted the American Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People in June of 2016. The United Nations, Barack Obama signed the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People in December of 2010. That's the United Nations. But the Organization of American States, OAS, this was 30 years in the making, finally adopted the American Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. But the Organization of American States, I have identified in the indigenous people as those who live on reservations. Barack Obama, when he was president, for a period of, when Barack Obama signed the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People in December 2010, he brought in those from the White House. He didn't seek out me or Annie Eve, Ross Mariah, and Liz, and those on reservations every year were at the White House. Those on reservations, and as his daughter, he also had the November. November is the American, what's it called, the American Indian Month, or whatever they call it. So we're not reckoned with, I'm saying, in that letter, what I am presenting to the Organization of American States, that they recognize in public that Moor is classified as black, Negro, colored, Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rican, be recognized by them in public to the people. I'm talking about nationally. National, it's a national petition. National letter. That's what I'm doing. So I just wish I had a whole staff with me. I just wish I had a staff of people working with me, because it's kind of hard, because it's like I'm doing a lot of stuff by myself, and I'm writing, and it's a lot of work. But I just wish I had a staff. You know, so that's where I'm at. All right, so that answers your question of what we're doing. All right. So we got, what time is it now? 9:51. So we're going to end. I want to thank you for your attention. All right, and your support. Are we going to close out? Stand up, everyone. Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day. Through Holy Prophet, Ali, Sheikh Sharif, Abdul Ali.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed, no more back